Former Defense Secretary Robert Gates has created explosive headlines today. Portions of his revealing new book have been released. Gates, in that book, questions President Obama's leadership. The book's title is Duty, Memoirs of a Secretary at War. And in one passage, his commitment to Afghanistan, in which he recounts a meeting with the president in March of 2011, and he writes, quote, "As I sat there, I thought, the president doesn't trust his commander, can't stand Karzai, doesn't believe in his own strategy, and doesn't consider the war to be his. For him, it's all about getting out." Joining us tonight, Fox News strategic analyst Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, former federal prosecutor and author Andrew McCarthy. He led the successful terrorism prosecution of the 1993 World Trade Center bombings. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. Ralph, let me begin with you. Your reaction to the Gates recollection and writing.
There's only one surprise in that book as far as I'm concerned, and that's that somebody in Washington actually wrote an honest memoir. Are we surprised that Obama despises and distrusts the military? Were we surprised by the admission that he and Hillary both opposed the Iraq surge on purely political grounds? Are we surprised that Obama didn't believe in his campaign promise to fix Afghanistan? And I guess here's one more surprise, that this president can cold-bloodedly let Americans die and be maimed even now in Afghanistan for a policy he has not believed in for 5 years.
Now, Gates says, Andy, later in the book, he says that he believes that the president, somewhat contradictorily to say the least, actually did the right thing, made the right decisions. I can't square that up at all, can you?
Well, it wouldn't be impossible to make the right decision for the wrong reason, but I don't see how this could possibly be the right decision. I think, similar to what Ralph said, what we have here is a memoir that makes the obvious explicit. We have people who are politically opposed to not only American projection of power, but also have a preternatural aversion to the military, who basically have, as soon as it was politically possible, tried to disentangle themselves from these overseas conflicts, and it's much more about their political prospects than it is national security.
Well, we're going to go obviously much deeper into the Gates book and his sense of the history of his time as Secretary of Defense, but it is already an explosive charge against the president and Secretary of State Clinton to suggest that they were operating out of a political motivation rather than one in the national interest.